So this is my wife's special garden, and she's going to show us around it a little bit. Go ahead, honey. So this was a box that we built. What was interesting about it is I tried to do cut pieces on the bottom to gradually make a radius, and then I remembered something and I go, you know, if I kerf the edge of the top, so the top one is kerfed and bent and the bottom one is in short little sections, and obviously the kerf design is better, but it worked together. I didn't want to waste any boards, so I did both of them. But this one gets dappled sunlight. So what's interesting about it is that the lettuce barely was growing, while the lettuce out in the other places were doing really well. But now that it's growing, and I think, what was it you were saying about the tomatoes?
Well, they're not going to get enough light to make tomatoes, but this one gets a little more light, so it has one little bloom area.
Where's that bloom?
Right there.
Where? Oh, way down there?
Yeah.
So this will make a tomato?
Well, hopefully.
And then what are these in back?
They're romaine, but they've gotten too hot, so they're bolting.
Did you get any lettuce off of them or no?
We got tons of lettuce off of it.
And then what are these over here?
The one that's bloomed is cilantro, which is
This one?
no, yeah, it does not. It bolted. It does not like any sort of heat whatsoever. I'm growing some heat tolerant right now.
And what is this that seems to be doing well? Celery?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's underground?
No, it's just not mature yet.
And then this one is the same one, the cilantro
Yeah,
that
cilantro.
bolted?
And then the one here is parsley. That one hasn't bolted. It can take a little more heat.
So what else do we have out here?
Well, and the empty one that looks empty, that's ginger, but I just planted it, so it hasn't done anything.
So this was watered with, I basically tapped onto our drip line, and I ran these the little drip lines that have the holes in them. But to get her, this was an existing garden we had that was just shrubs of something. But they were all on drip, and so when she started doing more containers, we did the drip line into them. And so we just basically tap another tube onto that. And so there's no actual gardening plants here for food.
There's going to be some, that hole that I am eventually going to have after weeks and weeks, actual hole. It's going to have...
Because it's so hard to dig.
It's going to have lemongrass in it.
And your husband hasn't gotten out the pickaxe. All right, so now there's some gardening going on over here. What do we have in the tree ravine here?
There's yellow squash. Right here you can see
So
yellow
the big
squash.
ones? Or where are you pointing?
Where,
Why don't you get your finger into the camera so I can see where you're pointing? So just by the rocks?
Above the rock is, you see that yellow fruit? That's a
Oh
yellow
yeah,
squash.
over there. Let me zoom in on that. So that's a
Yellow squash.
yellow squash. Huh.
And then over there is a Spanish squash. There's one that you can barely see.
I can't quite see it.
Yeah, it's really hard to see. It's small.
It's in there somewhere?
Um,
Over there?
see the red flower?
Uh-huh.
It's closer than that, but it's kind of laying on the ground this way.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
quite
it's
see
kind of
it.
a light green.
Light green squash over
Yeah,
there.
and then above that is zucchini, which we're getting zucchinis. And then above that is Armenian cucumber, and it does not like where it's at.
And we have no actual watering, so you're just doing hand watering for that
And
area?
then the weeds down here are
I don't think they're
collards.
weeds. They're
no,
collards.
actually, technically they're weeds, but I planted these weeds.
Isn't the definition of weeds something you don't want?
Well, in the South, they eat their weeds.
Okay. This was something I did that was kind of
really
fun. Is I drilled out the center of a. Let me zoom out. Out of a stump so that we can get a little plant growing out of it, and it's kind of recovering. It initially had a little bit of heat shock, but look at all the extra stumps that I have to do still. And when I was trying to do this one over here, that's probably an hour and a half worth of work before I gave up. So this is just too hard. So we'll see if I get back to that. So now we have another group of plantings over here, and this looks like the sun is having a hard time with them. What's going on here?
We have the row of tomatoes down here are Roma tomatoes, determinate. And then we have...
so these are actually growing some tomatoes on them.
Yeah.
So are they going to be tiny or Roma? They're like
about,
that big, right?
They're like 1.5 inches to 3 inches.
Yeah, so they're smaller.
And this is a regular cucumber, and behind it is a Japanese cucumber. And then all my peppers, I planted them too early. None of them are doing well. In the back, there's a couple banana peppers on that one, a couple jalapenos.
Let's see if we can see those.
They're on the far side.
Let's take a look at those bananas. Yeah, there we go. A couple of banana peppers. So how much bigger do those get?
They should be a lot bigger. They're stunted because I planted them. This is my first garden, so I didn't know better. But I should have waited to put them out.
They like a lot of heat.
Yeah.
They like 80 degrees or above.
Yeah, the soil needs to be at least over 65 degrees. And it's still in the 40s at night when I put them out. And those little plants...
Shouldn't they recover, though?
No, if they're stunted, they don't really recover.
Huh.
I mean, they could. The little plants over there are bush beans. They're
those
so
little tiny ones over there? Let me zoom in on
I
those.
got a late start on those. And that plant over by the brick is a nasturtium. That's really going to be flat flowers.
Oh, okay.
Up there I have butternut squash. Closest is watermelon. The other side is pumpkin.
And then you just free planted those up there. Now we have a sprinkler at the top. Does that hit them? No. So you're free watering those as well.
And then I have sunflowers and cowpeas.
So they're just barely
okra
growing. They're just sprouted right now.
I just planted seedlings.
So
they're
they'll
little.
come up. And then this planter was one that you had me lay a couple of 4x4s and just kind of
keep the dirt up.
Yeah, because everything was flowing down, which actually worked pretty well because you could backfill it a little bit and make them more level.
These right here,
it gave it some structure, not a lot.
They were already planted before. I would have done it differently. I mean, I would have put more dirt in it, but it wasn't there when I planted them.
And then we didn't show your tomato plant here again. Now this one has a lot of little tomatoes all over it.
Cherry tomato.
So all of these little tomatoes are just going to be cherry tomatoes.
Yeah, they're cherry tomatoes.
And I think I saw one that had like 4 or 5 on it. I guess maybe not. And then what's over here?
Those are the same Roma.
Romas again.
And then this one probably won't ever get anything. It's kind of shaded out.
Yeah, because the one tomato is shading the other.
It's kind of getting bug damage, and I'm going to leave it. Maybe I'll attack that plant and leave the other ones alone.
So mostly you've got tomatoes growing in the
peppers.
And the peppers.
Those are most important. They're the only thing that matters.
Look at this guy. This guy's going crazy.
That's an heirloom.
Heirloom, man.
You see how this is growing? How it's kind of growing weird? Heirlooms tend to have double buds, and they kind of grow.
Is that a little heavy for it, for this
branch?
branch?
No, actually, they're very sturdy.
So they...
You can actually grow melons up on a trellis. Their stems are so strong that they'll hold it in midair.
Wow. And this was what? How high is this? About 4 feet? About this trellis that we built. And this was just basically fencing that I stripped at. Looks like about 1 inch. And we just kind of used the stapler nailer just to make it, and left them pointed on the bottom and just hammered it in. So that worked pretty well. And you tie it to the top. But boy, I imagine when those get laden, I wonder if it'll support all that. And then over here, I seem to remember these were strawberries.
Mm-hmm.
And we got...
It's their first year, so this is like
bloom?
the first bloom it's gotten.
Do they have any in the shade? So basically the blooms are in the sun? Is that how they work?
That's weird. Usually they just lay on the ground. I'm not sure why.
Maybe
My other
they're
ones that I
a little
harvested were coming off the side. I don't know. Maybe it's because it needs
And
the
then
sun.
what's the reason for the flowers in the front?
Then for bees and
Some more pollination. And then you've got some raised planters over on the other side. So this looks like what's going on here, huh? So this is an herb garden. So what are they?
This is sage. Those are leeks. I didn't know how to plant those.
Sage and leeks.
Yeah, I didn't plant them right. These are chives and dill.
Chives and dill. And the dill isn't doing too well.
Well, it's not very well.
And that's, I remember that was rosemary.
Yeah, and then sage.
Rosemary and sage. And
That
that's
is-
in a pot. And
I
that
have
also
a
is just
feeling-
free watered as well.
I have a feeling that there's no holes in the bottom of that planter because when when I had it over by the sprinkler, it had 2 inches of standing water at the top of it every
It
morning.
seems to have enjoyed that, though. It's doing well.
I got it out in time.
And then what's going on here?
These are Japanese on the side, Japanese cucumbers, and the other one I don't remember what kind of cucumber it is.
So you have 2 different cucumbers in this small pot?
Yeah. I planted 15 seeds of that other and only one of them came up
Oh my gosh.
out of 15 seeds. But then again, I didn't want 15
And you
plants.
said that's kind of normal from what
Well,
you
what I
said on
read
this-
from the company, that people were complaining that the seeds weren't germinating very well.
And
but,
then
I
this is
mean-
one of our favorite climbers. It's not
Jasmine.
yeah, it's
It
not
was
not
full
for eating.
bloom just a week ago. It was
Oh,
all white.
and I love the way it just goes up into our little private garden
It's
over
like
there.
smells like heaven.
Yeah.
Not right now because they're mostly spent, but when they were in full bloom, it was like heaven.
And you've got something in this pot here.
Those are lupa.
What is lupa?
Lupa. Those it makes those sponges.
So it actually isn't edible, but it's a
No,
useful
it's
plant.
edible if you eat them small, and then obviously since you can use it as loofah, they do not work when they get old. They get
So
woody.
loofahs are big and
They're
chunky,
really long. They're like this long.
like a
Yeah,
fish story.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let it climb, and then you just let it basically just dry up on the vine.
How's it going to climb? So you're going to put a stake in
I'm
there?
actually, this is not where I'm keeping them.
Oh.
I'm gonna keep them over there and have it climb up.
Over by that
You know where
little
those
garden.
chairs are.
Okay.
But I was forgetting to water it because it was too far away, so I moved it over here.
And then we've got a lot of things over here.
There's onions that I
First one is onions.
I improperly.
Wow, they're doing well.
Well, no, they're not.
Why? They look
Because
really.
They're full-size onions. I didn't know how to plant onions when I planted them.
You
so
think they're too close together?
Yeah, they can't make bulbs. You can use them as
Oh.
green onions, but you
Yeah,
can't.
they can be scallions, huh?
Yeah.
And then this is another
that's
one of the
aroma.
another Roma. The Romas are doing really well. And then what's here?
The broader leaf, softer leaf is a sweet potato, and then the rougher leaves are regular potatoes.
So these are going to be a root crop,
Yeah.
and they're grown in a pot. How
They
does
were
that
just,
work?
Well, no, actually they are best in a pot, but there's really kind of too many in there. I just had rotting potatoes, and I had the soil for one pot, so I just stuck them in one pot.
So, and then what happens when you pull them out? You have like 5 or 6 on each stem?
We'll see.
Okay. And I think this is just a normal flowering
No,
plant,
this
right?
is Meyer lemon.
Oh, so it's going to be a tree. Is that right?
Well, it's a bushy tree. It's a dwarf, so it doesn't get really big. And then if you put it in a pot, you can get.
Okay, so and lastly, we have the plants in waiting here. So these are all going somewhere? Do you have any idea where they're going?
The rosemary's
Or their
in
overflow.
that dark space over there. I'm gonna plant some things, and we have the rosemary.
That's these over here.
Yeah, and I don't know what else, but
What are all these things? Now that looks kind of like the strawberries
those
did.
are mints,
Oh,
and I'm going to plant them on this barren hill and hope to God that it spreads like wildfire, like it's supposed to.
So mint wants to be in shade?
It doesn't care.
It doesn't care. Okay. And what else do we got over
And
here?
then the lavender I wanted to plant
Oh, they're
up
so
there
pretty.
on the hill.
What do you do with lavender? Is that just for soaps and things like that?
I don't think you're focusing on lavender. That's echinacea or something. Oh, no, not
Is it the one
echinacea.
with the purple
That's
sprouts?
dark purple.
Okay.
It's gonna go up there by the hill.
But what do you do with those?
You can make all kinds of stuff with lavender. You can make
You-
lavender
you-
tea. You can make lavender
can-
soap.
you
all
can-
kinds of things.
Eat it then.
And the little plants were supposed to be inside of the tree stumps.
The tree stump plants that are still awaiting.
And then these two are laurel, the bay laurels. And then I have two Kaffir limes.
Where are the Kaffir limes?
They're really small. They're in the.
Are they in there? These?
These two.
These two?
They're trees.
Oh, those are trees. Okay, lime trees. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. And then.
And then we have thyme and oregano over there. I put it out in the sun on a really hot day.
Where did you get those
Did
labels?
Not like it.
So
Came
those.
in the plant. I bought
Oh,
those.
so you bought a bigger plant and you planted them in there?
Yeah.
Or an individual plant? You
Yeah.
planted in
I wanted to see them fight it out, but
there? like they're
I
kind
put
of
them.
duel
I put
for
them
the
in the
spot.
hot sun. They like heat. I don't understand. I guess maybe because it's in a black container. It just did not like being out in the sun, so I brought it back.
Put it back
And
in
this
the
is a
shade
little
area.
herb garden that I'm making.
Oh yeah, I see a lot of labels. Tarragon, Italian
Tarragon.
flat leaf barstow,
Parsley.
parsley. And this one I can't read. You've
There's
gotten it.
Thai
There you go.
basil and regular basil. And then this is cilantro.
And those are all in
Those are
seeds,
low
so they're
boltings,
sprouting.
Hopefully yeah.
And is it going to stay in there until they're bigger?
Yeah. They're going to stay in there forever
Oh, okay.
until they die, which won't be long for how it goes with me. And then this is bush beans. I planted them because I planted bush beans up there and they never showed up, so I thought they were never going to come. And the moment I planted these, they popped up. I just
So these are probably not going to.
no, they will. It's just
Get
I didn't
replanted?
realize how long it took.
You have them facing the other way.
And
What's
these
this?
are
Blue
salvia,
Oh.
salvia.
Sage.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're going to be pretty purple flowered bushes. So I have, what is it, 12 of them growing? So I'm going to plant those around when they get bigger.
This is rather interesting how they get smaller and
Yeah,
bigger.
it's not funny.
That's like the light line. Is this where they've always
Well,
been?
no, I change them all the time.
Oh, you rotated
I
it?
rotate them. I do all
So
kinds
this
of
was the
stuff.
lighter.
Just-
This was getting more light before?
I've, whenever
They were all planted at the same time.
Yeah, and whenever these started getting bigger, I would rotate it because those didn't show up at all for a long time.
The littler ones?
Yeah, and I kept rotating it in the light, and I'd water one side more than the other.
That
and
is
all
really
kinds of stuff,
weird.
and it's still, these should be full grown.
What are they?
It's the same. It's the romaine lettuce.
Oh, it's more lettuces.
Yeah.
So it's romaine. We could eat them as these little leaves too.
Yeah, they don't taste as good until they get wrinkly.
How come the backs are rough?
Because I
wouldn't want to eat something with rough.
No, the
These aren't. I guess the littler ones are rough, huh?
no, it's because
Or is
when
that
they go-
rust on them?
No, when they go out in the sun, they get wrinkly, and that's when they need that to be crisp.
Okay.
So my other lettuce did not taste good until I put it out in the sun and it got wrinkly, and then it tasted good. So this side it's gotten wrinkly from the sun, and then
Yeah, I guess there's nothing on. Okay, so it's just normal. All right.
Yeah,
So, tell us a little bit about your knife here.
Hi, hori knife. It's awesome.
I know. I was
best
using it
thing
to fix
ever.
the sprinklers, and you yelled at me.
Yeah, well, it's because you left it in the dirt without washing it.
But it's so fun to throw it in the dirt. It just sticks in there.
It's awesome.
All right. Well, there you go. So all your famous bloggers that you've been watching, what do you think they'd think of this? What are your famous bloggers that
They
you
would
watch?
be really sad for me. Oh, the poor noob.
Want to do a shout out to any of them? What is that? Like David the Good,
M.I. Gardner.
M.I. Gardner. Who's that pretty redhead?
Roots
that-
and Refuge.
that
Oh,
redhead-
Laura.
Oh, she's so sweet.
Laura from Garden Answers.
The pretty flowers, and then that crazy Aussie. No, that really nice Aussie. That's an ex-military guy.
Yeah.
Something.
Sustainable Me or something.
Sustainable
like
Me. He's
like
such a
that.
sweetheart on the
that. Yeah,
videos.
he is.
All right. Well, you have shown
I
your
like
garden.
Scott Head. Scott Head's he was my first garden person that I
And then this also shows some of the projects that you see that I've been working on, like my fence, and I think that's the only one actually. Oh, there's the coffee table that you fell through, honey. You want to tell your story?
No.
Doop, 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 doop. Well, at least you didn't get hurt. But anyway, it's fixed.
It's not only is it steep, but it's slippery. And I just
Yeah,
I just went-
decomposed granite, so you have to put.
I just started slipping. I couldn't gain my.
And
thing.
then, of course-
I fell over the couch and then the
And then
couch.
over and into
the
the-
couch knocked over the coffee table.
Yeah, so it wasn't exactly you. Okay, so
Well,
it was
me.
the
It
hill.
wouldn't have happened without me.
It was your foot, not your whole body, though.
No, it's my whole body. On
Oh
the couch.
God, that's just so
And then
scary.
the couch tipped over and knocked the table over.
Anyway, we fixed that by putting redwood over the top, and that worked out real well. Let's make another project. And some of the projects that I'm not bothering with, of course, the planters and drilling out the logs, because that is a pain in the butt. But you've seen our garden, and I hope you enjoyed our
It's too
video.
hot now.
Yeah.